I have another question. Breathing pattern. It's a big mysterium. I hear a lot about it, and even when I put out the video, because I breathe only to the right, they always say no, you need to breathe every third time. And WhatsApp, I get so many people say that, and what is your take on it?
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't swim around in circles if you only breathe to one side.
Yeah,
I'm being smart.
yeah,
Yeah. Like, yeah, I generally would just breathe to one side, my preferred side as well. A lot of people that are starting out, people that are trying to think about their technique and focus on their technique, maybe it is a good thing to breathe bilaterally. So, breathe every 3 or, every 5, whatever. That in that way, you can practice getting used to your preferred side of breathing. You can maybe focus on trying to maintain your balance and maintain that that movement along that central axis that we've talked about, that rotation along the central axis that we've talked about. But it's not the be all and end all.
Yeah.
So breathing patterns, it's again personal preference, and also it depends on the distance that you're swimming. It depends on whether you're swimming in an ocean, a lake, or a swimming pool as well. You have to adopt different breathing patterns and different breathing techniques depending on where you are. But let's just focus on swimming in the pool for now. So let's, me, for example, say I'm doing 100 or 200 front crawl.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it at a pace. So I'm going for a hard 100 or 200. I would probably start off breathing every 4.
Yeah.
But then for me personally, the last 50, or if it's 100, certainly the last 25, I'd probably go to breathe in almost every stroke. And you can tell me your thoughts on this. But the reason I do that personally is because there's a balance, there's a tipping point between keeping the rate, the rhythm, and the speed up versus maintaining and holding that breathing pattern.
Yeah.
So if I was trying to hold 4, my lungs would give up more quicker than the rest of my body and the muscles. So because my breathing is fairly good, and I only breathe my slightly to the side and use that pocket that we've talked about, I don't move my head too much, and I can maintain my rhythm, I can maintain the speed, and I can get home quicker. Whereas if I'm trying to hold that breathing pattern, it slows me right down.
Yeah.
So what is it? How do you swim fast?
Well, I swim I breathe every second time on the right. Even if I'm sprinting, I'm not a sprinter. I can turn it off as well. Like I can swim 50 meters without breathing. You talked about one important thing, and this is this tipping point. This tipping point of keeping up your speed and sacrificing everything for the speed, for the optimal technique to keep that speed, and then getting uncomfortable when you're getting tired. Because if your breathing impacts your speed in a negative way. So what I'm trying to say is, if you swim 100 meter, and yes, the fastest would be not breathing at all, but the problem is, can you keep it up for the 100 meter to not slow down? If there is a tipping point where you can't keep it up anymore, and you may need to find the optimal balance to have the breathing pattern in line with when you cannot uphold it anymore. So if the main standard, not breathing at all, can't travel that you can't travel through from 0 to 100 meter without breathing, you need to find a pattern which works then, or like a combination of patterns which gets you from the fastest speed you can go with the fastest technique from 0 to 100, and the pattern need to be aligned with that, because it can be that after 50 meter, without breathing you will get tired. With breathing you will be able to keep up the speed and keep it there. So you need to align it, and this is the problem. This tipping point, So there is no use for keeping non-breathing or breathing every third or breathing every fourth time or fourth stroke to keep it up if it makes you slower. Like there is no use for sacrificing your breathing for the optimal technique, which is in the textbook, if it slows you down. Rather do then something which is more comfortable, which you can keep for the whole time or for the whole distance. And as I said, I've never been a sprinter. I've been always a long distance swimmer. So for me, breathing every second time is kind of a normal thing. And nowadays you see all the pros, they breathe every second time. Not on a 50 meter, but on 100, on a 200, they breathe every second time. And then
you were about to take sorry to butt in. You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say the British Championships have just finished in Sheffield, and I urge people to go and have a look at the men's 200 freestyle final. Okay, so there were, I think there were 3 of them, 144. Someone else was 145. This is long course.
Yeah.
It was a rapid, stacked final. Most of the fastest times in the year. The fastest swims around the world in the year happened there. Go and look at their stroke and go and look at their breathing pattern. They're breathing certainly on the, look at down that last length, that last 50 meters. They're breathing every stroke to the side, to the side, to the side, because they're wanting to keep up their rate, rhythm, and the speed into the wall. Exactly.
So in the end, you can also see it from a pro. So there is no use for keeping up that stereotype or that idealistic technique if it harms your speed or it harms your swimming, right? So I generally say, look, you need to learn both. At least in training, again, like with the nose and mouth breathe, you need to be able to do it. You need to be able to swim with it. Let's do a 50 meter breathing every second time. Let's do 50 meter breathing every third time. Do breathing every fourth time, and so on. Go up and then go up. Or you can even do it in 100 meter that you breathe first every second, then third, so that you always increase by one stroke. You can also try to do that. These are drills to learn it and also to get the balance. But after that, decide on what is the most comfortable breathing pattern for yourself.
Exactly.
And then optimize that. Optimize that.
Yeah, totally agree. I totally agree with everything you said. Go out into your training or practice and see what you feel comfortable with. And you can do some timed, or even when you start to push yourself in training, try some different breathing patterns. And then when you come to race, have a go. Like, start off holding that breathing pattern, and then as soon as you feel that you're really struggling to maintain that breathing pattern, just drop it down. It doesn't matter if it will help you continue your speed. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, good statement. Sounds good. So I think we conclude this call for today. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
Marcus, thanks for your chat.
Let's see us for another episode of Let's Talk Swimming.
Good man. See you soon.